In modern Yu-Gi-Oh, one-card combos have taken over. Snake Eye Ash, Nightmare Throne, Malice Dormouse, 3 out of the 6 Ryziel monsters, any damn Fiendsmith card. It's no secret that's where the game is going. And with the best decks in the format all being hit beyond repair to play the next big thing, budget decks that might fly under the radar might be the best thing that you can invest in as a modern player. Today, I'm showcasing one of the craziest budget decks that have been largely ignored by the player base. It can be splashed into multiple different types of strategies, and has 22 non-engine slots, giving you plenty of flexibility in how you want to play it. My name is Doc Conrad Yugioh, and this is your starter guide to Evil Eye. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Evil Eye. This deck is, I think, really underrated, really crazy, and currently only piloted mainly by one guy. Let me go ahead and pull up his name real quick. He recently got a top finish at a WCQ event in Yuma on November 2nd. Eddie Gomez had a topping list with this main engine and the extra deck being the exact same as you see down here. The side deck, however, is all the different options that I think it can be played. So let me go ahead and get into this. Evil Eye as a strategy is meant to utilize equip spells and dark fiends that help you as you pay life points and eventually end on not only this monster, Surziel, Watcher of the Evil Eye, but a rank 3 engine as well with Basiltris and Basilis. You can end on under Nib with a copy of Surziel equipped with Selene, which allows for a destruction of a special summon monster, but requires you to destroy a card you control afterwards. And with Basiltris being able to special summon from grave, and Basilis special summon from hand inherently lets you send an Evil Eye spell trap, which you would normally send an Unleashed. In order to get a rank 3 engine, typically the ending for him would be Cicada King. This card is a on-field negate, and then increasing the monster's defense by a 500 while having at least 22 non-engine spots. Now here, I did say 22. He did end up playing a copy of Terraforming to add a copy of Pareidolia and Pot of Prosperity. We'll go ahead and get into overall what all of these cards do in a general combo guide video in just a moment. But first, let me go ahead and describe the kinds of decks you can play with this. So first off, the main thing you need to know is that with all of these cards, the main thing you're going to be doing and cycling through is getting the Evil Eye of Selene or Evil Eye of Gorgiano in order to equip to either of your monsters. Evil Eye's Unleashed, when a Link monster has been Link summoned, which this card, Basiltris, lets you do, allows for a Link play with either Gorgon, Empress of the Evil Eyed, or Surziel, Ruler of the Evil Eyed. Surziel being a once per turn pop, and Gorgon being a once per turn effect negate on effect monsters. With you having to pay life points thanks to both Evil Eye Unleashed and Evil Eye Selene, at this point it is very important that there are a lot of synergies you could do with paying life points for some different engines, or you could just use this as a secondary part of your engine. It really depends on what you want to go ahead and max through. So, with these two monsters being level 3s, you can go into a number of rank 3 plays, and this being a rank 3 toolbox deck allows for a lot of flexibility in your play, but also a lot of options for what you want to do in case you want to run more other engines, rather than just being 20 other hand traps or 22 other hand traps with some other cards like Droplet or something like that for non-engine to go at and keep your main core gameplay running. Unleashed and Surziel are 1-card starters. This card is a 1-card starter for a less optimal end board, and Basilis is a 1.5 card starter in order to do further extension plays, with Basiltris and Catapult Pass being cards you really don't want to see, alongside Retribution and Awakening. These cards are options and extenders if you already have different cards for when you're able to search other spells or other cards with the effect of Surziel. When it comes to the types of rank 3 engines that you could also play, you can also play Bamboozling Gossip Shadow to allow for a general monster negate if you want to go further into your plays and you have further extension, perhaps something alongside with a Speedroid engine. Jaja is also another option because you have a lot of dark fiends in the graveyard, and this being a card that utilizes if you have multiple monsters with the same original type and attribute as each other, being able to banish. in order to get out, like, you know, pretty big monsters. The fully rank up Xyz stuff with Xyz Armor Fortress and the Xyz Armor Torpedo, I believe. And full armored Xyz to be searched off of Fortress could be fine. Being able to do a rank up play eventually into full armored Dark Knight Lancer. But you also have another option in the current deck with Cicada King upping into Corbage. Corbage on your opponent's on the next turn. Target any monster and shuffle back into in defense, and then rank up into Dark Knight Lancer. Basically, you want to prevent both Basilisk and Catapult Pass from banishing when they leave the field, except when you do a quick link up play. Mellow Melody is a light fiend rank 3 that keeps your monsters back in, shuffles your rank 3 monsters back into the graveyard, allowing you to do further plays and go into the full Fiendsmith line. There's Xyz Armor Torpedo, there you are. You have the Unchained as options because they are fiends. You have the Kashtira package to be able to go for starting your plays first off. Having non-engine there seems great, and you can also use it as link material for Gorgon. You have Speedroids as more rank 3 extension, and for other slightly less optimal plays, you have Tour Guide from the Underworld being able to bring out any of your rank 3s, preferably Basilisk, link off into Gorgon, and then on the opponent's turn, Basilisk effect, link up into Zerziel. You also have, because you're paying life points, the Gold Pride cards. This deck has so many different options, so many different types of cards you could play, and all of this, main engine, for less than $5. $5 for all this kind of cooking you can do, and a lot of these rank 3s are not that expensive. If you have a lot of staples, this deck is really easy to get into, and I think the biggest skill set when it comes to utilizing this deck is paying attention to the life points you're going to have to activate and pay. And it's an important thing to go ahead and note those points that happen. Those being, Evil Eyes Unleashed says, send one Evil Eye monster, an Evil Eye spell trap for your deck to your grave, and add an Evil Eye equip spell from deck to your hand, but for the rest of this turn, each time you activate a non-Evil Eye card or effect, you lose 500 life points. This is a you lose, not you must pay, so it is a little bit more difficult. You can kill yourself through Unleashed, which is not great. Same with Selene. Anytime you activate either the monster's effect, of Zerziel that you equipped, or any of these cards, you lose 500 life points, and the equipped monster gains 500 life points. And if it's sent to the graveyard, you could banish an Evil Eye spell trap by paying 1,000 life points, and then set it to their field in order to go ahead and go for further plays. Gorgon adds any spell trap when it's sent to the when it's in the graveyard by discarding an Evil Eye card. So your normal play is Unleashed, send Gorgiano and either Basilisk or Catapult Pass, preferably Basilisk, adding Selene, Gorgon effect, discard Selene, add Paradolia, add Zerziel, normal Zerziel, add Basilisk. That gets you a rank 3 in Basilisk, a rank 3, a level 3 in Basilisk, a level 3 in Basilisk, a monster on the field that's an Evil Eye, Selene in graveyard being able to banish one of the cards, Unleashed. You Basilisk send another Unleash, because when you go into your further link plays, this card also has an effect that says, if you link summon an Evil Eye link monster, banish this card from grave, equip an Evil Eye equip spell from your graveyard to an Evil Eye link monster, giving you more and more plays every time you do link ups. And then Catapult Pass just has a protection effect for your Evil Eye cards, and Paradolia also has some effects that are pretty good. But either way, that is going to be the main combo for this. I'll go ahead and showcase what that looks like normally. Right now, actually, let me go ahead and get into game. So let me go ahead and showcase what the Evil Eye combo looks like off of a 1 card of Zerziel. You normal Zerziel and activates effect to add an Evil Eye card from deck to hand. We're going to go ahead and grab Unleashed. We're going to activate Unleashed and send for cost, Gorgiano and Basilisk. In order to add an equip spell, we will add Selene. If you happen to already open one of the equip spells, don't worry, you could still add the other one. You really brick when you open up 2 of them, because this requires you to have at least and add 1 Evil Eye card, and you really don't want to send anything else. You can send a copy of Unleashed as the spell trap, but you really don't want to. So now, from here, we're going to go ahead and go Gorgiano effect, banish, in order to send to the graveyard Selene, and add an Evil Eye spell trap. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves a copy of Paradolia. We will activate Paradolia, if it'll let me, and we'll add an Evil Eye monster from deck to hand. We're going to add a copy of Basilisk. Basilisk is going to inherent special summon, Vassal is going to activate its effect in order to send from deck to grave another copy of Evil Eyes Unleashed, in order to have one for banish for Selene, and have one to banish itself when you equip an equip spell. We're going to activate Basilisk quick effect to bring itself back to the grave because you control an Evil Eye monster. And now this card will be banished, this one will be not, so we overlay these two into a copy of any rank 3 you desire. My personal choice for my kinds of plays is any rank 3 that you can get those materials off later, but the main guy who does this, Eddie, he happens to go ahead and go into Cicada King. And from here, we go into the effect of Selene, setting it back down, taking 1,000 for that, activating Selene onto Cerziel, and now you end on a negate, an on-field negate by detaching material. You always detach from here the copy of Basilisk. You have a special summon to pop on Cerziel. And anytime you want, you can go ahead and go. Let's go ahead and say you negate. This card would gain 500 defense. We would then, on their turn, activate a copy of Basilisk once again, special summon itself back, activate its effect again in order to go into a link up, and you can either choose to go into here. You can either choose to go into Cerziel or another negate with Gorgon. And the reason why you could go into Cerziel is because the effect of Basilisk, by the way, would be banished. Says immediately after the effect resolves, link summon an Evil Eye monster using monsters you control as material. When you do, you can also use Evil Eye equip spells you control as Evil Eye monsters, making it so that way Cerziel is Selene is also included and lets you go into a link 3 pool. Going into Cerziel, I highly recommend also being oh, what the hell? There you go. We'll just move you over here. I highly recommend being careful about your zone placement. Specifically, try not to put things in the middle zone as much as possible, because Cerziel has a mandatory effect after the effect is resolved of it targeting a card you control and destroying it to negate the effect of an effect monster's card currently points to. So you don't want to negate your own stuff that is mandatory, and it will also trigger this card twice, and you can bring this back by banishing a copy of Unleashed as it is linked. So Selene will now equip to Cerziel, and Cerziel will now use its effect to be able to target and destroy a card your opponent controls. And this is with 4 cards still in hand. 4 cards. Jeez, this is crazy. Now I'll go ahead and show you the same combo with Unleashed, with some added cards for Flair later on to go ahead and utilize for this one. We're going to activate Unleashed, sending for cost once again the copies of, let's see here, this one is going to be the Gold Pride variant that I helped root up, which is fun. We're going to send Basilisk and that Gorgiano, and adding a copy of, where are you, Selene. We're going to go ahead and banish Gorgiano in order to activate this effect, discarding Selene to add a Evil Eye spell trap, adding a copy of the field spell of Evil Eye Domain, Pareidolia. Activate Pareidolia to add an Evil Eye monster. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves that copy of Cerziel. We're going to go ahead and normal summon out Cerziel, if it'll let me, and activate its effect. In order to add a copy of an Evil Eye card from deck to hand, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves a copy of the level 3. Oh, did this variant not bring the level 3? Shoot, I did not bring the level 3. Well, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and pretend that this is the Basilisk. We're going to special summon our Basilisk and go on and activate its effect to dump a card. We're going to send a copy of the link of Unleashed. We're going to activate the effect of Basilisk in order to special summon itself out back. And we're going to rank up these two in order to get a copy of Gold Pride Chariot Carry. Now with this, we can activate its effect, detaching the Basilisk in order to add a Gold Pride spell, and on res we will take 500 life point damage, which is exactly the kind of thing you want to have for Gold Pride. In order to lose some activation, we're going to activate Better Luck next time and then pay the cost in order to get out a copy of Chariot Carry. We will take 9 and 5, meaning we will take 14. And then we will special summon out Chariot Carry and activate its effect, taking another 5. because we control less life points than our opponent. In order to add a copy of a Gold Pride Trap, we're going to get Start Your Engines. We're going to set 1, and at the end phase, we can either go ahead and, oh, I almost forgot. We will activate Celine, banish here, set in the spell trap and take 1,000 for cost. Activate Equip to Yugioh, and then the end phase, Chariot Carry will go back into the extra. And if I do, I can bring out another copy of this. I'll take another 5 after this. Take another 5. And then, better luck next time can let me draw a card. And we get Leon for later. Now with this, we can go eventually into Basiltress on the opponent's turn, have a set card of Gold Pride Start Your Engines for further plays. Crazy, crazy stuff. And this deck loses life points like crazy, so Gold Pride is actually pretty decent in that regard. I like it a lot for that particular purpose. Now I'm going to show you the Fiendsmith variant of the deck. Now this may not be budget, but if you happen to have the cards, that's another type of thing. So we're going to go ahead and start off with another copy of Yugioh and activate the effect, adding of course the copy of Unleashed. Unleashed is going to activate its effect in order to send from deck to grave, for cost, the copies of Gorgiano and the Basiltress. In order to add from deck to hand, let's see here, that copy of, we can add that Gorgiano, or we can add Celine. We'll target Celine and activate the effect of Gorgiano in graveyard, banish in order to send this to add a spell. We're going to add that copy of Pareidolia. Activate the Pareidolia effect to add another Evil Eye. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves that copy of Basilisk. Basilisk Special, Inherent. Basilisk Effect, send. And we're going to go ahead and send that another copy of the Unleashed. Basiltress Effect to Special, Quick Effect. Go into it. Overlay these two, of course, into what else? But in order to prevent you from going, banishing the Basiltress, you're going to Mellow Melody the Brass Djinn. This being a light fiend in order to send it off to the graveyard and go for that copy of Requiem. Requiem will go to the graveyard and send the deck to grave that copy of special summon out Lacrima. Lacrima will send Graver. We'll go either Requiem to Spell Trap, that copy of Lacrima, or we can Fiendsmith the Graver, bring back the Mellow Melody to go into there. We'll do this line. We'll take these two, and we will go into the link to into the Necroquip. So if you have any other further cards, like say in a Graver already, we can go ahead and activate that, pitch that, get a Necroquip draw once again, or we can go further into different plays. If you already have a copy of Engraver, you don't send this. Instead with Lacrima, you send that copy of Fiendsmith in Paradise. Or you can go ahead and do this, grab Tract, grab Lurie, discard Lurie, Lurie effect, come back, and you don't need to go through all these hoops to go through that. You can go into a different rank 3. But let's go ahead and say here we want to go ahead and bring back that copy of Mellow Melody back to the extra deck in order to special summon out that once again, this copy of Engraver. And we're going to go ahead and link these two off into a copy of Fiendsmith Sequence. We're going to activate Fiendsmith Sequence in order to shuffle back Engraver. Let's go ahead and bring you back to the bottom. Yep, you back to the bottom, and you back to the extra deck. In order to get out that copy of Fiendsmith's Disarray. We're going to link these two off into a copy of Gorgon. Excuse me. And we're going to activate Unleashed effect here in order to banish and re-equip that copy of Celine. And we're going to Gorgon sequence effect, equip to Desiree. Now this also will make you lose a decent amount of life points because you did activate Unleash beforehand. I wasn't doing that to showcase what it is beforehand, but you're down about, like, depending between like 3,000 to 3,500 life points, but you only need the one life point, right? Just be careful of managing that resource in order to fully understand. So what do we have here? We have Gorgon effect being able to, on your opponent's turn, negate any monster effect. You have Desiree to negate up to 2 cards. You gain that life points back, gain more attack points with Celine. And then later, you can go ahead and go Basiltriss, special back, and then link off with its effect, link off both of these into a copy of Yugioh, and then you can go Unleashed once again, equipping that copy of... Oh, did I put Celine in here? No, I didn't. In order to put Celine back in the spell trap zone, equipping and getting a pop as well. All of that, 4 cards still in hand. Ooh, man, this deck is so cool. So, with all that being said, what do I think overall about this deck? I think that this deck is going to be a relatively strong contender when it comes to being a budget deck, and its biggest skill ceiling being ensuring, well, its skill floor, I'll say, is ensuring you keep count of your life points and managing your resources well. I think that there are a lot of times in which 1-card combos may be great, but there's also a case where it has the disadvantage, unlike the Fiendsmith cards, where if you do get interrupted, you do neg a lot in advantage. However, with people not knowing exactly what these cards do, it's hard to exactly get where you want to go, and at least sending 2 for cost means that any other extender in hand that you have, if they stop one part of your combo, can still get another part of your combo. And worst comes to worst, you could play 22 other hand traps, or 20 other hand traps, or any other form of non-engine in order to supplement your end board, depending on the amount of cards you require for the full engine to go through. With all that being said, I want to give a huge shout out to the person who I found on this list, who helped me find this list, Eddie. Eduardo Enrique Gomez, the runner-up of Yuma WCQ Regional, has been a pilot of this deck for quite a while, and has been someone who in the community who has been a great help for this. I want to give a huge shout-out to him. I want to give a huge shout-outs to everybody who has been helping me out test this deck at locals. I've been configuring and finding out more things about the deck and how I like to play it comparatively. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed and learned something today, and I hope that I get to see you with your evil eyes.